I am blown away with what these drums are doing. They have punch, but focus. The attack is clear, but the tone is controlled. And they're very easy to get great sounds out of. It's very easy to go to a sort of an R&B funky place because they do have a very sort of vintage feel to them, but they're powerful drums. You can hit them hard and they sound great, and then you hit them soft, and it's almost like the tone doesn't go away just because you hit them soft. They're great drums because I feel like they can serve a pretty wide range of the musical spectrum. What a drummer does is communicate with the rest of the band as to what's happening in the song and where we're going. It's almost like I'm being able to communicate with the band better because these drums are so clear and poignant as to the ideas I'm putting out. Whether I'm getting into something lightly, using ghost notes on the snare, or lightly starting in on the toms on something, every single note that I'm hitting is giving me a full tone back. Nothing's disappearing. There's no dead notes depending on where I'm hitting them on the head. And it's inspiring. If there's any question in communication amongst the band members on what's going on with it, it's in the middle of a solo or whatever, I feel like it's my responsibility to say, okay guys, this is where it is. And when you've got a drum like this, it's rocking, and it's still, everybody's aware of exactly where it is. You know, these drums just speak all the way across the board, and like I've said already, rocking on them or not, they seem to just hold their tone the whole time. Little quick story about the snare drum. I got it and I put the head on it and I tightened it all just enough so that it was all even before I even started tightening them up, and I hit it just to see where it was, and it had a low, solid 70s R&B fluffy thud to it. No crazy rings. I didn't have nothing on it. I've never had that with a snare drum. And then I tightened them all up a little bit all the way around, and it's what we have right now. In a session, yeah, I could go through multiple snare drums to get the vibe I want, or I can just tune this thing down 3/4 of a turn around the whole thing, and I have it right there. So especially in the recording world, you know, time is absolutely money, and the last thing you want is to have to sit there while the engineer's waiting for you to get a ring out of something. It just doesn't exist here. You know, so Noble and Cooley, 1854 is when they first started making drums. They are the oldest drum company. They made the marching snare drums for the Union soldiers in the Civil War. Those snare drums were made out of tulip wood. It's a wood that is prevalent across the Northeast. So for the Noble and Cooley 150-year anniversary, they decided to make a replica of the original rope marching snare drum that they used in the Civil War. That has slowly progressed into them making tulip kits. This is where it begins, you know. I think part of what makes the kit tulip such a great wood for kits, and I have no idea how this secret hasn't come out before, but I'm so thankful that Noble and Cooley has jumped on it, is that it is such a soft wood, so it absorbs a lot of the overtones that can plague other drums. To make it easy, these tulip shells just sound pure, awesome, very vintage sounding as they have a nice roll off on the back end of the tone, nice attack. It's the all-in-one. And I gotta tell you, I have a few different kits that I have to decide between which one I'm going to use depending on what kind of session I feel I'm getting into. I wouldn't have to with these. I know right now, I've had them at my home studio for the last week. I've used them on a variety of different recordings. I don't want to give these back. So there it is.
Nick and I have played together almost 20 years. And playing with Nick with this kit is that you hear his voice immediately. It's a very warm sounding kit. But it's not muddy because you can clearly hear everything that's going on.